Hi, boys and girls. My name is Jim Martin, and I'm a volunteer for Children First. And I'd like to read you a story. You know, it's October, and at the end of October, you know what occurs? What holiday occurs? It's Halloween. And I thought I would read you a story that sort of reminds us a little bit of Halloween. And so I'm going to read you the story, The Legend of Spookly, the Square Pumpkin. There's Spookly. He doesn't look too spookly, does he? He looks downright friendly. But this is written by Joe Troiano and illustrated by Susan Banta. Okay? So Spookly the Square Elephant. One day in the pumpkin patch, the strangest little pumpkin hatched. Spookly wasn't like his friends. They had curves and he had ends. Spookly was different. He was odd. He was rare. Spookly was a pumpkin wasn't round because Spookly was square. See, there's all the other pumpkins in the pumpkin patch looking at Spookly, who is square. See, everybody else is round. Spookly was square. So he was a little different. He looked different, but he still was a good little pumpkin, but he looked different. While the round pumpkins had fun rolling around, poor Spookly sat there shaped all wrong. He tried and tried with all his might, but he couldn't budge. He just sat tight. The other pumpkins teased him because he was square. Spookly wished he was round and could roll everywhere. That is until one night they all discovered it's fine to be round when the weather is fair, but there are times when it's better to be square. So here are all the other pumpkins in the pumpkin patch having a good time. And here's poor Spookly here, who can't do anything because he can't roll around. So but there's going to be a change in the weather. And I think maybe Spookly might be able to help out. Oh, Halloween, which I mentioned earlier, was just a day away when a mighty storm blew across the bay. It tossed the round pumpkins to and fro. It snapped their vines, and then off they'd go. Bouncing left, slamming right, banging, bashing. What a sight! Spookly sat there, filled with fright, but glad to be square on that night. And see, the storm is coming into the pumpkin patch, and all the pumpkins are being thrown around because they're round. But there's Spookly. He's sitting tight because the storm can't move him. And see all the lightning? The pumpkins are scared. I'd be scared too if I were in a pumpkin patch and it was storming. Oh my. Suddenly the fence gave way. 3 pumpkins rolled out and into the bay. Look at those poor pumpkins. They rolled off the pumpkin patch because the fence gave out and they fell into the bay. And now they're going to swim away, float away. Okay. So the pumpkins are in the bay, but not Spookly because he was square and he didn't roll. Spookly knew what must be done. It was up to him. He was the one. He teetered, he tottered, he tipped, he tried. He finally flipped. He was on his side. Again he tripped, again he flopped, and again he flipped, and then, so see, Spookly, the square little pumpkin, is trying to move, but it's hard for him to do that because he's square. See, he's trying to help his friends, the other round pumpkins, who were in trouble. He stopped right in the gap where the fence had snapped. He blocked the way, the hole was capped. All the pumpkins shouted, "Hooray! Hooray!" Spookly, the square pumpkin, had saved the day. Then a pumpkin hit him with a whack. He thought his shell would start to crack. Then another one hit him with a thump and another one with a smack. See? He filled that hole where the pumpkins were going out, so no more pumpkins could go out. But the pumpkins were rolling around, and they were hitting him accidentally. Then one by one, the pumpkins piled on the stack, with a bang and a bash, and a crunch and a crash, and then it went all black. All those pumpkins were all piling on top of each other because they were rolling around, and poor Spookly was in the middle of it, down underneath all of that. Poor Spookly. I'm sure he'll be okay, though, don't you think? And then the next year, when it was time to sow, he sowed those seeds in every row. He watered and weeded and watched them grow. I want to make sure I didn't miss a page here. And oh, that morning about mid-June, when the pumpkin patch began to bloom, there were tiny little pumpkins everywhere, hundreds and hundreds, most of them square. They had lots of square pumpkins. Look at the pumpkins, lots of square ones. And you see the scarecrow out there? It's not doing a very good job keeping the birds away, is it? But see all the little pumpkins? Oh my goodness. Spookly had done a good job, and he left seeds for the new little pumpkins. Some were cubes, some were rectangles, some were flat, others triangles. There was a bed of bright red ones, 2 rows of blue. There were polka dot pumpkins and rainbow ones too. There were thousands of colors and hundreds of shapes. Oh, what a garden variety makes. Have you ever seen red and green and polka dotted and blue pumpkins and rainbow pumpkins? I never had. I don't think I've ever seen a square pumpkin. But Spookly did a good job. Now every year at Halloween, Spookly's patch is quite a scene. People come from far and near to see what wonders grew that year. They stop, they gawk, they gaze, they stare. Then they pick a pumpkin that's round, triangular, and perfectly square. Now you know the story how Spookly grew. Maybe someday you'll tell someone too. They'll all go tell someone who will go tell another. And maybe one day we all will discover you can't judge a book or a pumpkin by its cover. And you see all those different pumpkins? And sometimes people are different too. But they're all valuable people. No matter what the color of, the shape of them are, they're all valuable. And that's the moral of the story that I just read to you. No matter how different you are, it's okay to be a little bit different because you'll be valuable too. I think that's a real good lesson, that we all look different, but we're valuable. And every one of us is valuable. I hope you liked that story. I enjoyed reading it to you. And I'll look forward to reading more stories to you. You guys have a good day. Bye.